Welcome back, Dynamic Gang. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. So I want to do like a scrap deck profile, and then I'm going to do a few combos and show you how good this deck really is. It's definitely a rogue deck. You know, I know a lot of people that play the professional Yu-Gi-Oh! They're not going to really play the scraps and whatnot, but it's a fun archetype, and it's like my favorite out of all of them. And I'm going to do some honorable mentions right now. I used to use Scrap Beast, but now I have Scrap Orthros and Scrap Raptor. So it kind of replaced him. But Scrap Beast used to be what Scrap Chimera would search in your graveyard. Okay. Then Scrap Kong. I never use Scrap Kong because he's your normal summon. It's not even a special summon. Again, we're just doing some honorable mention. He's 2000, but I know I never really liked him. I did put 2 Scrap Searchers in my deck, but I downgraded it to just 1. So now I got 1 Scrap Searcher. This card is so good, especially with the Link summoning. You got to be careful though, because anytime this card is special summon, it will destroy anything that's on your side of the field, or your opponent's side of the field, depending on if you Scrap Golem to summon it on their side. This destroys, once a special summon, it destroys any other card except for Scrap Monster. So just be careful. You might have to play around with that, but that's pretty good. I never use Scrap Soldier. He's a 21, level 5 tuner. Again, he basically doesn't really do anything that is out of the ordinary, so I don't see too many. Even when I used to play back in the day, I never really used him. He's just like a brick in the hand, you know. Scrap Lube, I used to use this card. It was like it was pretty much your Call of the Haunted, you know. And I don't think it has, and I don't think you can only play like once per turn this card. So if you had 2 of these, you could actually do 2 of them. But I'll just read the card to you. Select 1 Scrap Monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster from the graveyard. Its effects are negated. When this card is removed from the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is removed from the field, destroy this card. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this. So you can use it multiple times, but again, what's the point? Because when the monster comes back, the effect is negated, and it's just not really a good card in my opinion. So Scrap Hunter, I don't really use this, but I know some people that have used him in the past. And basically what he does is once per turn you could select 1 face-up scrap monster, except this card, destroy it, and send 1 tuner monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it's like very specific. It doesn't even let you choose what card you can really send to the graveyard. So he's not really, I don't know, I would never put him in my main deck. He's definitely I don't even know why they made him, but I mean, scraps are really hard because you can miss timings. Some cards don't go good together, so scraps are, you definitely have to know what you're doing with scraps. And Scrap Worm. So basically, I used to use 1 of these in my old deck, because that way I'm able to switch it out when I'm doing my sides, going against other people. But basically, this card can attack your opponent directly. If this card attacks, it is destroyed at the end of the battle phase. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard, you can select 1 scrap monster in your graveyard except Scrap Worm and add it to your hand. So, I mean, he destroys himself after the battle phase. So, even if you had Scrap Factory on the field and you didn't use it that turn, technically he would be able to activate Scrap Factory. He can also get a card back from the graveyard to your hand, but again, he's a level 2 tuner, and it's a normal summons, and there's so many other cards that I believe is a lot better. So these are just honorable mentions of the scrap deck, and all the cards that were good support. Well, it's not really good support, but this is what we had to work with before we had Scrap Raptor, before we had Scrap Orthros. Actually, no. I think Scrap Orthros came out the same time. It was a secret though. So anyway, we're gonna get into the deck profile, and then I'm gonna show you a few combos, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to summon. All right. Also, this one scrap card that I forgot to mention. Let's see if I can find it. I used to use it a lot, but again, this is optional, and he can special summon himself. So if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned, this way select one face-up scrap monster you can control and destroy it. So basically, he can destroy himself, he can destroy Scrap Orthros, any scrap card, and he's basically a Cyber Dragon, but for this card. But you need to have, your opponent needs to have a monster on their side of the field in order for this to pop off. So, again, that's optional. He's a level 6, and I don't know what else to say about it. All right, so I play one Scrap Golem. He basically is like Marshmallow, but he could destroy himself at the end. Like if he was face down, right, and somebody attacks into him, he won't be destroyed because his effect has to be when he's face up. So you can actually get attacked twice, and then his effect will pop himself, and you know you're good for Scrap Factory and all the rest of that. So I play one Scrap Golem. I'm sorry, Scrap Goblin. I play 2 Scrap Golems. I used to play 3, but you know, he becomes not a brick, but there was other cards that were more essential for your deck. So I cut him down to 2. Great card though, and he lets you special summon and do all your plays. All right, so we run 3 Scrap Chimeras. Scrap Chimera is basically the card that lets you get a level 4 or lower. Actually, I don't even think it says a level 4. This card could be synchro summoned except for scrap, and all other scrap material monsters be okay. Then when this card is normal summon, you can select one scrap tuner monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So he can any tuner actually. So basically, you're not really going to use him to tune. You're going to use him to link. So you run 3 of him. Scrap Shark. I used to really not like this card, but Scrap Factory made him an essential component to your deck. And basically, he destroys himself whenever a spell, trap, monster effect, anything triggers, he will. So you would play him first, then activate your Scrap Factory, and he'll pop himself, and then the Scrap Factory will pop. So he's good. I run 2 Scrap Orthros. He could basically special summon himself if there's another scrap monster on the field. So your idea would be like a Scrap Searcher or something, and that way he can pop the Scrap Searcher and bring himself out, or he could just destroy himself when he hits the field, and so you can get your Scrap Factory or Scrap Wyvern. Wow, I couldn't even say that. Then I run 3 Scrap Raptors. Okay, 3 Scrap Raptors. And then this card really helps this deck tremendously. Like, this card is crazy. So basically, if you don't know what this card does, you could target one monster you control, destroy it. Also, during your main phase this turn, you can normal summon 1 scrap monster in addition to your normal summoner set. This card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard. You can add 1 Scrap Factory or 1 non-tuner scrap monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Scrap Raptor once per turn. So basically, he could pop himself, or you can use Scrap Storm, or you can use Scrap Orthros, or Scrap Wyvern, anything to pop him from another scrap card. He will get his effect off. And then you could search for your Scrap Factory, or you could search for your idea is to get a Scrap Chimera or a Scrap Searcher, because you want to throw it into the graveyard. Your Scrap Searcher, you got 1 of him. He's pretty much your Black Rose of the deck. Like I said, he destroys, basically he'll destroy anything that's not a scrap card. So when he special summon either on your side or your opponent's side of the field, he destroys any card that is not a scrap. So he's definitely good. Scrap Mind Reader, just because he can special summon himself on, even though it's the second main phase. You do need to use other materials if you're going to tune with him. You're going to need other scrap materials in order for him to tune, and then he could tune in any other synchro monsters. It doesn't have to be a scrap monster, but you do need the other materials to be scraps. So he's he's an okay card if you're going to need it for link summoning and whatnot. That's what I use him for. Spell Striker and the Tricky was kind of like a draw. Either one of them would have been great in the deck, but I believe the Spell Striker is a little bit better just because he's an Earth, and he could special summon himself by removing a spell trap. So a spell card in your graveyard. So basically, he's really good, and I don't think enough people really give him enough credit. And he's an Earth, and he's level 3, so it kind of goes good with the theme. Where the Tricky I think is a wind. All right, so we run one of him. We run for the hand traps. We run 2 Effect Veilers. Everybody should know what that does. Power Giant is another great essential card that I've always played in this deck, no matter what. And basically, when you discard a level 4 or lower monster, his levels will change depending on the card that you discarded. So he changes his levels. He's another body on the field to link. He's a special summon. He's 2200. Why not? So we run 1. What's that? Pankotropis? I can't say the word. Wow. Whew. So you already know what he does. I don't have to explain it. Special summon. So that's it for the monsters. So we run 3 scrap storms. You already know what Scrap Storm does. Basically, you summon a card. You summon a scrap card, and then you can chain that to its summoning or chain that to whatever his destruction, and you can make it into a chain. You can make it into basically the effect to pop off, and basically you get a free card. You get a card in your graveyard. It's just an OP card in this deck. We run 3 of those. We run 3 Scrap Factories. This is a scrap card that lets you special summon. It's in my opinion, it's an essential card now. You could run this deck without it, but why? This card is just ridiculous. We run 3 Scrap Factory, 3 Scrap Yards. He searches for your tuners. We run 3 Fossil Digs, and this would be to get your Scrap Raptors since it's a dinosaur. So we run 3 of that. So we run 1 World Legacy Succession. This is a great card because you're going to be link summoning and then you can special. So this is an extra Monster Reborn. So we run 1. Mind Control, because it's mind control. Pot of Avarice, and the reason I like Pot of Avarice is because I'm able to shuffle all my cards because you're going to be going through your graveyard. This is no problem putting targets in your graveyard or for this to activate. And, that lets you continuously use Scrap Factory, continuously take Scrap Golem and put it back in your deck or whatever card that you want. So, and you get your 2 free cards. Monster Reborn. Instant Fusion. Or I play Instant Fusion for basically a free monster, and it lets me absorb a monster, and then I can link with it, or I can tune with it, whatever I want to do. 1 Twin Twister, just because I don't know too many people that play traps anymore, but why not, man? It doesn't hurt, and it lets you discard, so you can actually target your own cards, right? And you could discard, so it puts a target in the graveyard. 1 Foolish Burial, so you would either do this one. Actually, you could do any of them, actually, to throw that in the graveyard in order for Scrap Chimera or your Monster Reborn or whatever to take effect. Call of the Grave, we play 1 because Call of the Grave. And Overdone Burial. This is just in case I have Scrap Golem in my hand and I need to get rid of it. So basically, I'll read this card to you. Activate the card by discarding 1 monster, then target 1 monster in your graveyard whose level is lower than the discarded monster's original level. Special summon it and equip it with this card. The equipped monster has its effect negated. You can only activate 1 Overdone Burial once per turn. So basically what this would do is if you needed to have another, just to get rid of Golem in your hand, and you could get one of those on the field and basically use it as a link summoning, pretty much. So we don't run any traps except for the hand trap, and that's basically what we have on this one. So we're going to do the extra deck now. So I run 1 IP Masquerena. It's Masquerena. I mean, if you don't know what this card does, it's crazy. Then we run 3 of the Scrap Wyvern. This is the boss of the deck. This makes all your combos. And actually, I'm not going to say this is the boss of the deck. I'm going to show you the boss of the deck. But this is definitely the second boss. And this card just lets you get to the main boss of the deck. All right. We run 1 Scrap Twin Dragon. All right. We run 2 Scrap Dragons, just because Scrap Dragon is Scrap Dragon. We run 1 Borreload Savage Dragon. This is a great card. This lets you get back into your links that are in your graveyard, and you can use it for counters. It boosts its attack. It's just an all-around great card. It's a level 8 too, so you would do Goblin and Golem, and you would go into that. All right. We run 1 Notoria Beast. Notoria Beast. I can never say that word. And you guys should know what he does by now. I mean, he's just a really good card. Of course, I already showed you, the fusion that we need for the target. We run 1 Nightmare Unicorn, just because. Same thing with Nightmare Phoenix. We run Borosaur Dragon. We run 1 of him. And for the beast, for the main boss of the deck, Unchained Abomination. This card is crazy in this deck. He basically, I'm just going to read this card to you. If a monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect, except by Unchained Abomination, except during the damage step, you could target 1 card on the field and destroy it. When another monster is destroyed by battle, you could target 1 card on the field and destroy it. During the end phase, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. And basically, during either your end phase or your opponent's end phase. So this guy just be popping everything. And the combination I'm going to show you is really good with him. So we run 1 of him. And Link Mail Archfiend was a good candidate to put in this, since I do synchros, but like I said, we got 15 monsters, so I didn't have any room to put them in. So we have honorable mentions. I would have also liked to put Link Karibo in there too, but just not enough room. And of course, I got these are some of the other ones I wanted to put in there. I just didn't have enough room to do it. So, all right. So your ideal opening hand was that you always want to try to get Scrap Raptor in your hand, or a Searcher card. Somewhere you can get a special summon because it takes 2 monsters to make Scrap Wyvern. So the ideal hand is, well, You get 5 cards. But the idea at hand is to basically get Scrap Raptor, Scrap Factory, and a card you could special summon. And then the other cards really don't matter. You can have like a, you know, any kind of spell that'll make him pop off. So, of course, we're going to draw. We already have, you know, World Succession just because it's going to help out. So, let's say you go first, right? Even if you go first, the Scrap Wyvern is still going to pop off. So, we're going to activate Scrap Factory. Hopefully, they don't have nothing to negate, but if they don't have nothing to negate it, or your Scrap Raptor's ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to summon Scrap Raptor. Okay? We're not going to use his effect. What we're going to do is, if you're lucky enough to open up with your Scrap Storm, you would hit Scrap Raptor, throw, let's see, I would either do, I think I would do Scrap Golem. I put him in there. You can either do Scrap Searcher or Scrap Golem, but Scrap Golem's going to go in there just because we need to do him for the plays. All right. So then you would draw a card. This would pop off. His effect would come into play. That effect would come into play. So it would be Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, or you could do Chain Link 1 and then Chain Link 2 because that depends on. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, because of the Scrap Factory, Scrap Storm. So the Scrap Raptor is going to hit. You can either search for a Scrap Factory, or what I would do is I would go for a Scrap Chimera. Remember, this is all if they don't have anything to negate the summonings and the activations. So remember, you get a normal summons with him too, an extra one. So the Scrap Factory is going to hit, and we're going to play Scrap Golem. Okay. And his ability is going to kick in. We're going to special him. All right. Then we're going to link. If I can pick this up. So then we would link, and we would go for your Scrap Wyvern, right? So then we're going to activate Scrap Wyvern. So let's say that we're going to get, say you pop him, right? We'll just say, okay, he's going to pop himself. That's going to trigger. He's going to trigger. You already used Scrap Factory, so we don't have to worry about that. So Scrap Golem's going to activate first. You're going to get him back to your hand. And the reason why is you want to keep him in the graveyard. I'll tell you why. So now his effect is going to kick in, and he's going to special summon. You want to special summon your second Scrap Golem. Now, remember, if you're going first, you don't have a target. So now he has to target a card on the field. That's why you're going to destroy Scrap Factory. Okay? That's gone. Then, depending on, you could remove Scrap Storm or one of your magic cards, and you're going to special him. Okay? Then, what you're going to do is you're going to use his effect, and you're going to special him. Okay? Let's go there. Then, if you got World Legacy, or you have the Power Giant in your hand, so what you're going to do is, let's say you're activating this, right? Okay. Really doesn't matter at this point. So you would have it that way. So you're going to link these two. Remember, this is all one play right now. And you're going to make sure you don't put it right there, because then you can't summon her. So she's right there, okay? Now, you didn't use the Scrap Golem's effect to special summon Scrap Golem. So you should basically have this card left to special, and you didn't normal summon yet, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use both of these because they count as +2 monsters. Okay? And any monster that uses her can't be destroyed by your opponent's effects. So we're going to special summon that. Okay, now that's your boss monster. That's good, man. Then what we're going to do is we're going to special summon your scrap goblin, right? Then we're going to I'm sorry, we're going to tune, and we're going to get my man on here. Then his effect is going to kick into play, and we're going to get scrap wavering back. Okay. Then remember, you still didn't normal summon this turn. So now remember, you got this monster on here, and you still got other in your hand. So let's say that you special him. We're going to special him, and then we got Power Giant, so you can like discard him to special him. So basically, you got your 5 on the field again, and then you could go into whatever have you. By this point, you pretty much have game. So this was just one of those fun combinations that this is a fun deck, and with time and effort, this could be competitive if you wanted it to be. But like I said, it all depends on your opponent. If it has Effect Veil, or if it has that orange ray of light, or some other effect that will stop you from doing any of your shenanigans. But even if it stops you from doing one, you still have enough that you can actually do something. But as you can see, one turn, look at that, FTK. I want to thank you guys for watching, and like I said, I love scraps. This is my favorite archetype. I've been messing around with this a lot, and it's a fun deck. So, thank you.